Welcome to the podcast where we talk about all the things that are hidden in the shadows. This is Isaac.
This is Megan.
And hey, we're not dead. I know it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Well, we're getting shit ready for October because October is spooky season. It's a spooky month, and everyone and their dog is going to be listening to Paranormal Podcast. So we're trying to get as much stuff ready for October as possible, but also Megan now in school, and my job wants to apparently give me every single, route that's possible, every stop. So I'm getting home super late, so we haven't had a chance to record or have any opportunity. Excuses, I know. But we thought we'd throw another Spontaneous Paranormal Conversation at you. Because we're still trying to figure out topics for October, along with me trying to get ready for our Patreon release of what I'm recording for it, so you guys can be entertained that way.
Yes, and if you're curious when we are going to release announcements about all of this and our Halloween special and all of that.
Oh yes, getting our Halloween special figured out too. Oh
my gosh, that is going to be so good, and I'm so excited for it. And we have a special guest for that. So that, all the announcements, all of the information, we're just making sure that it's 100% set in stone. Because kind of prior years, when we announced ahead of time, it just never worked out. So we've learned the hard way of not kind of like giving it out too early. So we will release all of the information October 1st. And we're going to do a live October 1st. I don't know if it'll be me and Isaac or just Isaac, we'll see, but it'll go in depth more of what we're doing and things like that. So
yeah.
Plus
I've done a lot of interviews as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So trying to get my message across in other podcasts out there.
Yeah, it's been quite a few, and hopefully throughout spooky season we continue to do more.
Yeah, this podcast I've been on, there's been a lot. Do you remember them all?
Yes. So let's talk about how's a part 1 and part 2 of Isaac's abilities and stuff like that.
My 6th British podcast appearance.
Yes. Yeah. That one's already out. There was one for What Was That? That one's already out. Unexplained Ink. That one is already out. And the Empty Podcast. The Empty Coffin podcast, which is a new podcast coming out, which the episode hasn't been released yet, but it's in the works.
By the way, that guy, he's getting a treasure trove of people that I'm very small fish compared to the people he's getting on that podcast.
He's released clips of episodes that he's had, and he's had the Long Island Medium. He's had one of the guys from the Beach Boys. He had Jay from Ghost Adventures.
I'm like,
every time he releases a clip, I'm like, Isaac, holy crap! Like this guy.
And I'm the first interview.
Yeah, I was like, do you know who he's interviewing? And
he didn't mention anything about it. That's what I was surprised upon. I was like, holy crap! All right. So yeah, look forward to that podcast because he's gonna be interviewing a lot of people that I want to try to message him and say, hey, can I get Jay's information? I don't want to talk to him a bit. I want to see if I can get him because that would complete one of my white whales. I always want to interview somebody from Ghost Adventures. Yeah. And if he's willing to do an interview on a podcast, not that well known yet, then hey, come over here or I'll ask you some interesting questions.
Yeah. We also, for Halloween guest episodes, also kind of like shot some random shots. So at different people. Well, not really. Okay, I should have worded that a little bit differently. But, the saying, go shoot your shot. So we did that with like a couple people that claim they had paranormal experiences that are pretty well known. And so you never know. So we did that, and we're going to see if we hear back. And I think they would make really cool Halloween episodes, especially to show that like everybody kind of has paranormal experiences aren't limited to like people that are actively searching for paranormal experiences. So
yeah, so we got a lot of stuff coming in October, plus I got a lot more interviews coming in October as well. Let's start spreading more information and more videos. But yeah, the special that we got set up for October, we're going to a haunted location. to say how it came to me, and it kind
No,
of
don't spill the beans. October 1st.
I'm not talking about what. Okay, you want to wait?
Yeah, I want to wait.
All right.
The audience is like, no, no, he was about to spill the beans.
I was gonna say where it is. You're gonna say how I came to be.
Yeah, but you got to save all that. You got to build the suspense.
Right.
Oh, my voice. Build the suspense, bro. Build the suspense.
But yeah, around October, when I get, because I'm still writing the script essentially for it, but when I get them recorded, we'll try to release one of the episodes for the Patreon to kind of bait you guys to getting on the Patreon to hear the whole story. Because what I have cooked up is going to be really, really big stuff. So
yeah, and the reason why we even started a Patreon is because it's another way to get some funding to be able to go travel further out, because that's definitely something that we want to do. Yeah.
And it's not anything information-wise. Every information that we share in the podcast, we share freely about our abilities, about stuff you guys want to know about psychic mediums, all that stuff that most people would charge you out the butt for just, we just give it away freely. So what we want on the Patreon is not information-based. It's entertainment-based.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get into the voice acting game, and this is kind of my way of seeing I actually can do so by doing the entire series 90-ish% all by myself.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try to have Megan in there as one character.
And I think too, because me and Isaac are both we like to be creative. That is a very big aspect to who me and Isaac are. And I think doing this pushes our creativity, because it's going to push me in editing for sure, and new ways that I found how to edit. And then too with Isaac, just entertaining wise. And I think the Patreon is going to cook up new ways for us to be creative, still on a paranormal side, but with some twists and turns. And if you like us normally, I think you're going to like what we have to put out there.
A good way to put it.
Yeah.
But small paranormal things have been going on around the world as it never ends. We've had our own, did we investigate some between then and then? I want to say we have. Yes, we went to the park, but we couldn't stay long because the mosquitoes were eating us alive.
Yeah, but we did the session in the car with the dowsing rods.
Yeah.
That was interesting. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of dowsing rods, and I think we're definitely going to use it in our Halloween special.
I'm not. They don't work for me.
Yeah. If anybody hasn't seen, I don't even think I uploaded that video. I kept saying I was going to, but never did. Well, when I released
There's a lot of videos that you said you uploaded you never did.
I know, and you're just like... But I'll probably do it on our paranormal page and just share the video onto the podcast page. But there is a video of Isaac when we went there, because we did a live. And our thing was just strictly to test out the dowsing rods, because we kind of talked about them here and there. It's been something that I wanted to try to see what they would do. Saw a lot of positive things on like social media of paranormal groups using it. And so I had Isaac at the very, very beginning, because when we first got the dowsing rods, I had him hold it. I was like, "Ooh, you try it. Maybe this is your way to communicate, And he held it, and they were spinning like crazy. And I was like, whoa, like what's going on? And I sent it to a couple of people, like a short video. And I was like, is this normal? And they were like, they've never seen it, but that's crazy and da-da-da. And so I held it in the same spot, and they stood still, like they were ready to work right out front. And so we went to the spot. I had Isaac show everybody what it does. And it did the same thing. Totally different location, spinning like crazy, rotating around each other. And when you look up the meaning of that, it's normally that a spirit, like if it starts doing that like normally, like it's stationary, you ask a question and starts spinning, normally that is like a spirit is around. At least that's what I looked up. So a spirit's around. There's a something with the, what does it measure again? I forgot. Something in the magnetic field, right?
Energy. Sorry, electromagnetic energy.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. There's like a disturbance in the field. But if you look at the concept of what Isaac does with his hands, it would make sense that it would naturally do that. And so they just spin, and they don't stop. Like he can't get them center. He will even ask like spirits, like, can you center them for me? Nope. They just start spinning, and it's like impossible for him to do them. And then like he'll hand them right to me, and they go right center. So, yeah.
Yes, I ain't using those anymore, or ever. But it was an interesting conversation we had because I had a spirit there that was asking for my sister, particularly for Julie, who I've had on the podcast before. You're wondering who the hell I'm talking about. Talking about asking for her, which is strange because she remote views into locations that we investigate when we do lives. But it was strange. It was asking for her specifically, like, "Where's Julie? I need to speak to Julie." And then we also figure out what to actually call what you're doing. Is that you are technically becoming a spirit box when you listen to white noise and you channel into a location, and spirits speak through you like they would speak through its spirit box.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, I didn't bring the headphones, so I had to kind of like makeshift so I couldn't hear. And I couldn't hear Isaac's questions. I couldn't hear anything. And I would just channel through. It's almost like going into a trance, kind of. Like a meditated trance. But like not having to do all the extra stuff to get into that meditative trance. And that just goes to show you, too, the thing with Julie, the experience with Julie and the spirit. Because Julie was in the chat. And it just comes to show you that certain spirits at certain locations will click to certain people. And like the spirit itself kept saying, Julie knows my pain. Julie knows, she understands me. She knows what I'm talking about. And just from our prior experience with other teams, I mean, that was always the case. Like, there were spirits that would automatically flock to me. There were spirits that would flock to Megan, who was prior on the team, and then Mike, who was also on the team, and for different reasons. And so if you're a paranormal investigator listening or you're getting into the paranormal investigating world and you're just wondering why sometimes things or certain people connect to you on the other side, that's just kind of like, I don't know, they like, I guess it's like in real life, you tend to be drawn to certain people, and if they resonate with you, of course you're going to go to them. So
It's also strange that it most likely is over time, because this woman most likely it was in the 1800s, if not before, and of course Julie's now. So that was strange that they have almost a connection regardless of time. But then again, not higher dimensional space, as we theorize, which is a space, fourth dimension space where spirits are residing, there is no time. Not the way we see it, anyway. And only when they're here is they perceive time as they used to, when they're between the ether and us. It sounds like a band, Between the Ether and Us.
yeah, it sounds like a yeah.
But I forgot one of the weirder things. I was trying to think of other things that have happened because it's been a while. We've had a couple home cases. Most recently, we helped out a woman as well that got passed on to us from another investigator who couldn't. I say he couldn't help her. He just didn't have the opportunity to. But he knows us, trusts us, so we were able to do that, help her out. So that makes 40 home cases that we have done. 40.
Yup.
In 4 years, right? No, almost 3 years. It'll be 4 years this month. Actually, it already passed, yeah. 4 years now I've had my ability.
Yeah.
Yeah. And about 3.5 we actually been full-time investigators. And I would say about 3 years we've been doing home cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, 40 cases now under our belt, and the number I have collected is exceeding and exceeding and exceeding. I forget the last count, but if we do a Shadow Walker part 6? 7.
You don't remember? You say it all the time. Shadow Walker 1 through 6.
1d6, yeah. I keep forgetting. For some reason I thought it was 5. Yeah, if I do a Shadow Walker part 7, yeah, that's not been 100% upgrades to my ability, but there's been things that have been encountered that I'm like, oh, so this is how it works, and this is how I see it, and stuff like that. And starting to use my left hand more to communicate. I find that using my left hand, you moving those tendrils around, and almost like I'm holding spirit's hand with one of my tendrils, I can communicate. But not like I'm talking to them, like I'm speaking to them in my head. So, something I'm working on. I guess it's the closest I will ever get to be a psychic medium anyway.
Yeah.
Because, like, you just pick it up by Wi-Fi signal. I have to plug my cord in and, hey, let me talk to you, you know.
Yeah. Another really cool thing, because I have been trying to find us new locations. I always talk about that. But for you guys, you know, we could say a place is haunted, but to actually give, like, proof and give, like, background information is important. And sometimes when it's not a very known location, you have to kind of, like, dig and dig and dig. But one really cool app, I guess you could say, that I found is this. It's by Enigma Labs, and they're on Instagram. But the app itself is just for UAPs and like pretty much like alien phenomena, right? But it's super interesting because you plug in your coordinates like on Google Maps, and you're able to see people that have submitted stories of encountering weird things. So weird lights, weird anomalies, and you can upload audio, you can upload videos, photos, whatever you have. And I think it's really, really cool because that is an important aspect. If you're looking at a location there's not a lot, you're just basically going off Facebook posts, forums, like what people have said. This is kind of an interesting app to have. I wish they actually would make an app for paranormal experiences, because I always thought it would be cool for you to plug in an address like you used to live in. And
There's several.
There is?
Yeah, it's not very good.
I see. There needs to be something. Like, their concept on what they're doing and how their app works is actually really, really good. And it's a free app. So, at least I think it is. Hopefully it is.
Atlas Obscura and Haunted Maps. They're
Yeah.
always asking for people to give updates on the web, kind of like the UAP thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're consistently trying to ask people, hey, what is this location? Hey, so if you add on to their website or their app, you're helping it grow so people will know,
Yeah.
other people will visit why.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a little bit of an issue, is because you got to have people submit. Like, for instance, like for our podcast, we don't get a lot of like ghost submissions or paranormal experiences, that kind of thing. Like, people will tell us their experience, but not necessarily for submissions. I mean, we ask for it every now and then, but like not a lot of submissions. But like, you look at a podcast like Belief Hole that probably gets like 100 emails a day probably on just weird, strange things. So I think it's just like the marketing behind it. But the Enigma.
Edward Enigma?
Anyways.
Enigma.
So the app itself is so far I saw, like over here in this general area, there was probably about like 6 or 7 entries, which was kind of interesting to look at. But it kind of clues you in if you're going to a location that you're not really aware of, to see what people... because the location that we are doing for our Halloween special, I checked that out, and not in the area that we're going to, but close. There was apparently some weird alien abductions in the 90s amongst the locals. So, I mean, and as close as, well, I'm not gonna do it. I just yelled at you for doing it. Well, not yelled, but bickered with you about it. So I'm not gonna do it, but we'll save that for all of the, yeah.
Something interesting that happened last night with music, right? There's that song out there, I guarantee everyone's heard it on TikTok, when they use it to describe like cosmic horror, like stuff out in space. They use the same TikTok sound, right? The song is actually called Black Star. It's by a guy who does a lot of ambient music and stuff like that. He actually worked with singer from Tool, I forget his name, Maynard. And 9 Inch Nails a lot when it comes to ambient music and stuff like that. But I'll let you listen to it.
Oh, no. So apparently, because music in general, and I think it has a lot to do with like frequency and all of that stuff. And, you know, because you'll find like 30,000 TikToks literally and reels on just like how frequency is used to heal and frequency is used to do this and that. And I do believe like certain music will take me to certain places, meditation wise, and it's pretty quick. It's not, anyways. So like obviously higher frequencies will take me like magical places and stuff like that. But this thing took me to, I was laying in bed and it took me to this like abandoned warehouse garage thing. I can't tell you the country, the city, nothing, right? State, nothing. All I know is it was an abandoned warehouse garage thing, like a parking garage that is abandoned, is basically what it was. And I started seeing this thing that looked like the Nun, and I was like, "Oh, great, nice, right?" And it kept coming closer, and it kept coming closer, and it kept coming closer, and I was like, "Okay, you come any closer, I'm gonna body bag you and put you to the ring, like period." And it didn't listen, and because it kept talking about breaking both of my hands, I was like, no, this is no, we're not doing this. Because I do believe you can meditate to lower vibration spots. Like, you definitely could. And I think sometimes, just like I feel like when you dream, you can go to lower vibrational, like, parts of the astral realm. You can also do that with meditation. And apparently music will do it. And for some reason, this did it for me. And I don't, like I said, I don't know where it was, but it was like it just kept threatening to break both of my hands. And
you body bagged his ass and put it in the ring.
Yeah. And then I went back a second time because I had already kind of like channeled it. I went back a second time, and there's a thing that was kind of like not teasing me, but kind of like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, taunting. There you go. That's the word. It was. I kept hearing haunting instead of taunting, and it was making me like couldn't get my words together. But this thing. So the first thing was threatening to break both my hands, and then this other thing was like talking about carving symbols in my leg, and my leg actually started hurting. And I was like, no, you're not going to do that. Because, like, it looked at my leg. And I was like, don't play this game with me. And I just body bagged it and threw it in the ring as well. But be careful of the frequencies. And be careful if you listen to that song. Because...
yeah, Black Star.
It did it to me.
So I remember
now it's going to be like one of those, like, cursed games. You know?
Lustmord.
Listen to Black Star. See where you go.
Yeah, the artist is Lustmord.
Yeah. And like, it starts out fine, but then it kind of just like it has like an instrument that sounds like screaming, kind of at one point. And like I said, I don't know where this place is. It just popped me there.
Makes you wonder if you listen to it again, where else you would go?
I don't know.
Well, one of the other scarier things that I heard while scrolling through TikTok, like I usually do. And granted, I have like paranormal investigators and have other, things in the paranormal that I follow, scary videos, just to get updates on things out there in the world. But one of them was scary. This guy was talking about that right now, scientists have been able to clone and make brain matter, right? Just a little piece of it, right? Never just like maybe a little sliver of a piece of brain matter that has neurons that are firing, right? And they're what's the word? They're combining it, let's say, with current technology to work as AI.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So essentially you're having human organic matter, brain matter, competing with a sole purpose of combined with AI technology. And I forgot what it's called, the actual device or what this process is called. I forgot the actual name, and I can't find the fucking video again. It's like buried deep in my history of TikTok videos now. But I remember watching, I was like, God dang. But they were using this, and what they would do to keep this neuron essentially firing in consistently motion, right? Because if they let it sit still, it starts to die and decay. Is that they would have a program where this butterfly on a string kept flying around, and the program would think that it's the butterfly until you need it to run processing, do something in your computer, with like what AI would do, essentially, right? And that's where the guy had the thought and the theory is that this sounds severely like how you would put people in a simulation, right? That we are just little pieces of brain matter running a simulation, thinking we're living lives, going through the motions, and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
And we think we're the butterfly until we need it for a program. So when we dream, what if that's the programmer using us for whatever it needs for that time?
Well, that's like I saw this crazy thing about...
Not to scare the shit out of everyone and make everyone think, holy fuck, am I in a goddamn simulation?
No. I saw something that like really made me... it was a while ago. It was probably before our last episode, but I saw... because I actually prefer Instagram Reels over TikToks. For some reason, I just like the format better and I get better videos.
They're old.
No, I like it.
It has been TikTok videos.
No, I like them. Anyways, but I find more like weird stuff and relatable stuff on Instagram Reels sometimes rather than TikTok. Anyways, so there was this lady talking about that she had gotten a download about how essentially we were living in a simulation, and dream world is like almost like programmed, right? They let you see what you want to, not what you want to see, but what you're supposed to see. And when when you have a hard time going to sleep, like you're so tired, you're ready to go to sleep, but you can't go to sleep. That's because all of the slots in the dream world are filled up, and you're waiting for somebody to wake up to get that slot.
You gotta upgrade dream world then, right?
Yeah, right? More processing, dudes.
Well, I thought about the idea of if this is a simulation, right? This whole thing. We, as our abilities, are still important. Because if we have the abilities we do, right? Let's say we're programs. Then we're programs designed with an ability to hack other programs, not this dimensional space, but the next dimensional space, and hack their forms to take that data and imprison it in a prison that's unhackable, that's impenetrable, it's everything, to keep these other programs from messing with the main source programs.
You know what's so funny about that?
Because I know you're learning.
That's literally what I'm going to school for.
I know, which is that. And the thing is, though, then we are the programs designed by, let's say, whoever the programmer is, the designer, to be more stronger, more powerful, more skilled, and unbeatable versus any other programs out there in order to do what we're programmed to do, which is take out the negative programs that are disrupting the main source of the program. There you go. All right? We're taking them out to keep the main program, whatever is going, into fruition. Still gives me purpose.
So, like, that would even make sense, kind of, to, like, dark witchcraft, even. How they can hack somebody's life.
Well, I always theorize that witchcraft is, like, old technology that was forgotten. Like, you're hacking the system, essentially, of the spiritual realm by using spells, incantations, and how you would say something. That hacks the system. Therefore, you're sending a virus to the person through the system that it was forgotten about.
Yeah, because and negative entities can also be like a virus.
Yep.
And
so, yeah, I already thought about this in deep. All right, about the whole idea of a simulation, we're in it, and all that stuff. I'm like, well, I'm still important because I still have my ability. And it makes me wonder, though, like when we meditate and we talk to like higher dimensional beings, we come across them every now and then. Like, are they higher dimensional programs, or are they programs themselves giving us tidbits of information to help us keep going along? And consistently giving us upgrades to help take out higher level viruses.
People are probably like, what the? This was supposed to just be a spontaneous conversation. What is this?
Well, I'm not going to dedicate a whole episode to this because we already talked
true.
about simulation theory before.
Yeah.
But that was like a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
It was one of the first theories we talked about.
Sometimes I think we should, at times, like revisit some of our earlier episodes, because I could tell you from my own experience, my viewpoint on haunted objects, on Ouija boards, I still am against Ouija boards, but like, I feel like my mind has grown bigger with the concepts than when we first started out, because we weren't experiencing it firsthand. So we started doing this thing about on our social medias where like I do like themed days. It helps me plan things out better. But on Tuesdays, I've been doing haunted hotspots, where I specifically look for places that are not talked about a lot. So like I kind of like avoid like the Stanley Hotel, Winchester Mystery House, even though we did an episode on that, but like places like everybody knows. Even the Wilmington battleship, the USS North Carolina, like everybody knows. Everybody and their dog goes there for investigations. So I try and stick to places that are not super well known. And there's a couple places that I stumbled upon that I was like, what the heck? I didn't know this existed. So one of the specific spots that I found was this place called Stull Cemetery in Stull, Kansas. It's a cemetery, and it had an abandoned church, but the abandoned church was demolished apparently. And it's supposedly once a year or twice a year in the spring and like around Halloween, the devil comes to one of the legends is that there was a witch buried at that cemetery, and he comes twice a year to visit her grave. People have said that that for sure picked that up. I'm keeping that in there just so you know. Just so you know, next time, hold it in.
The chair's hard.
It freaking ricocheted. It ricocheted. Ricocheted.
I thought it came into the mic.
That was like a rapid fire gun, like that. But apparently people have actually had like, it's interesting. Well, one of the things that made it super interesting to me is we've been to locations before where I have said like it's weird because when we started feeling stuff and started getting things picked up, the wind would just feel unnatural. And like obviously we live on the east coast of North Carolina, so we know like what intense winds feel like because you know we get hurricanes and stuff like that. But like it feels unnatural. It feels like something is like moved. I don't know how to explain it. Like not moving the wind, but influencing. And apparently that happens at Stull Cemetery. Like somebody actually got held down by wind is what they said. And apparently the people that owned the lands where the church was never basically said it was okay for them to demolish the church, but the church was demolished. And there's not a lot of people in that town to begin with, but they do not like talking about it at all. They basically claim there's nothing there, but everybody that's kind of gone there has had weird stuff. There was one group of people that were kind of like, I don't know if they were investigators or just people kind of like venturing off to somewhere spooky, but apparently they had parked their car one direction. When they came back from the cemetery and went back to their car, it was parked on the opposite side of the road, but they remember parking it the correct way, or the way that they originally thought. And I just thought that was so creepy. I never heard about that. And apparently too, there's a place that I recently looked up. It's a park, which I thought was really cool because it's a beautiful park. It's in Oregon. It's called Lithia Park in Ashland, Oregon, and it's beautiful. It's got like tranquil like duck ponds, and it's beautiful. But apparently before it was a park, the land itself like had some deaths on it. There is a young girl. There's a blue light that appears around the duck pond that is connected with her, that was killed. They describe it as a dog-faced boy that apparently went missing in the 1920s. They never found him, and they just suspected that that's his ghost. And then there was a logger that died on the land that was crushed, and apparently you can hear him singing, or not singing, like humming through a milk jug, which I found interesting because you look at the park that we go to. It's not anything crazy. It's not like, oh my God, it looks, I mean, I guess when you're on the trails, it kind of looks spooky. But like, it doesn't, it's a park. It's a neighborhood park. And the fact that this park is like, I mean, it's got like I don't know how to describe it, tranquility ponds and stuff like that. And the fact that it itself is, I mean, people hear humming, whispers, they actually see apparitions. It's just interesting because it goes back to the fact of you can't judge a spot based on what it looks like now. Like I know my dad told me, I think it's in Richlands or Beulahville, there used to be World War II camps, I think, or like where they would hold prisoners, and now it's government buildings, and you look at it, it's a shopping center. Oh no, that was Wilmington. One of the is it a Roses? I don't know. It's in a shopping center now, but apparently POW camp, that's what it was back in the day, and there's like an actual historical marker there, but apparently the one that's in Richlands or Beulahville it was like a spot for people that were mentally ill. So again, if you get pulled to a location, check it out. Don't go just because it doesn't look like a quintessential abandoned home or a spooky like haunted area. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not haunted. Yeah. That's my TED Talk for the day. Because I always say that because I got told so many times, oh no, the park is nothing, like it's just a park, what are you talking about? And it ended up being something so much more. And I'm glad I stuck with my gut and said, hey, the park.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised as well. Anyway, that was one of the lessons I learned, not to argue with you when it comes to haunted locations. Like if you feel pull to go there, regardless of the history, if there is any, or there's a lot, if you feel a pull to go there, that means we're supposed to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I know there is something around here in one of the towns. And I'm hoping maybe somebody listening that's local might know something. But there's something in one of the towns. I'm like Richlands, Beulahville, Kenansville, somewhere in those. Like the smaller country-esque towns, Maysville even it could be, that are bordering kind of like the bigger towns. There is something, either it's abandoned. I know it's abandoned, but it's a specific like building. And it's in the woods and it's like overgrowth, but there's like insane stuff there. And I've been seeing it for the past 2 to 3 months, but I haven't quite found it yet. And it's funny because the spot for the haunted or the Halloween special, you actually found through kind of like meditating.
Yeah.
So that's another kind of cool aspect to the spot that we're going to wait till October 1st to share. Because if I don't keep reminding myself, I'm going to spill all the beans here, and it's going to defeat the purpose. I made post about it, so I have to stick with it.
Yeah, because I know some of our future episodes we're going to talk about one particularly that I wanted to talk about just because of my alien experience that I had that we talked about in an episode correlates with the technology they'd left behind. And one of the future episodes we're going to talk about here, so I guess not say we have a lot we've talked about we're going to release soon, but one of them that we're going to probably release next or soon because Megan has to re-record her Mimic episode. That was lost.
Yeah. So I don't know when. So it may come out before or after this episode, but I originally recorded a Mimic and Doppelganger episode by myself. It was supposed to come out Thursday or Friday, I can't remember. I even made a post about it. Like I was like on top of it. I recorded it. It was so good. It was probably the best episode I've ever recorded, and I would put it in our top 10 episodes that we've recorded. And it was all channeled information. Like I had normally when I do the episodes by myself, I have somewhat of a script because you guys know I go kind of like off on tangents all the time. So I don't like to read obviously off of paper. I want it to be natural, but I have like kind of like a script that I follow as I'm kind of like telling you guys everything. And I had a script and I ditched it and just went off of I mean, that was probably the most like cohesive I've ever been on an episode, and it was all channeled information. And the story that I shared in the episode was fictional, and it was just to give you an idea of things people have experienced with mimics and stuff like that. But I channeled some of the stuff from somewhere, and I don't know where exactly where it's from, but I don't know if it's somebody's experience or what, but it was a channeled like encounter that I saw. So yeah, and all the information was channeled. So I'm hoping that the episode that I record... But okay, to go back to why it didn't get released. I saw that it was recording. I saw the measures on the microphone. And midway through, I started getting a real bad headache. Like, those don't talk about it, like headaches. And I kept getting that something was messing with the audio. But I knew it was recording because I saw the microphone gauge up, like it was picking up sound. I go to edit it. I have all the sound effects because I was going to really do up the story. Like I wanted you guys to hear, feel, and experience for a split second what somebody that encounters a mimic feels like. And it's dead silent. Dead silent. But it recorded 59 minutes and 36 seconds. Dead silence. I don't have any explanation for that because I saw the microphone things, and you even looked at it and you said you didn't understand why it recorded like that.
Yeah. But one of the episodes I was talking about that we want to record that we're going to do here soon is on Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because he was a man who had furthermore information when it came to technology and intelligence and stuff beyond most people. And the things he built, or supposedly built, who knows, were still in mystery. But I'm going to somehow tie that into what I mean about the alien technology they left behind. But anyway, it's a teaser for coming episodes. Also, some other stuff we have is planned as well.
Yeah, I think we might do an episode 2 on the Monroe Institute. And then we do have podcast takeover episodes coming up. I'm not going to release the guest name yet. So, for me. But, yeah.
But I think that wraps us up here in our Spontaneous Paranormal Conversation.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it because it's been so long. And I feel like I need to hug everyone of you. Like, I'm sorry. It's just been... I've been crazy. I don't know. This whole summer has been go. And I think like it flew by. Like I'm surprised like we're even in September, mid-September at that. No, are we?
I am glad heat is gone.
That's true. It is not gone yet. It's close to being gone, but...
I'll try to shove it to the door, but it doesn't want to go.
I don't want to leave you. I want to make you sweat.
Can't wait for that cold embrace.
Like a cool hug from nature.
But as always, guys, you can catch our social medias at Hidden the Shadows Podcast on Instagram, Hidden the Shadows 6 on X, Hidden the Shadows Podcast 2 on TikTok. Our links to all our social media and always you can listen to us at hiddenshadowspodcast.com. And as always, we'll catch your weirdos in the next one.
Yes.
So these are just copper, you see me?
Yeah.
So just copper regular dowsing rods, and they have a spinning handle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can get adjustments, so you don't have to hold a piece of metal. Now,
let's see if they do
what
it.
they do in my hands. I'm standing completely still, and they just keep on spinning.